if you'd like to contribute to that. This event it's involved.
Thank you so much. So just to introduce myself again, my name's Chloe. I'm the managing director of Honey. It's a digital ad agency that I opened almost a year ago, and I have been in marketing and advertising for 9 years, nearly 10 now. I was client service director at an advertising agency in Cape Town, and I've also been head of marketing at a foreign exchange company in Durban. And then I decided to open my own business, and that's what I've been doing for the last year. Okay, so preparing for today was a bit difficult. I'm sure you can all relate when someone says to you, speak on whatever your industry is. It's like, well, I've been doing this, including studying, for 13 years. How do I narrow it down to something short? And I thought about it for a long time, and eventually I decided to speak about something that no matter what growth phase your business is in, no matter what it is that you sell, what service it is that you have, you'll be able to walk away today with some actionable steps to help improve your business and improve your brand. To start, I wanted to tell you a bit of a story that happened to me a few weeks ago that really got me thinking about all this. I did a series of very tongue-in-cheek, cute little ads for my business. So the first one read, could we be actual unicorns? And underneath it said, you wouldn't be the first to wonder. The next one said, you mistook us for a ray of sunshine. And underneath it said, it's happened before. And then the last one said, you saved our number as golden goose. And underneath, you wouldn't be the first to do so. So it was very tongue-in-cheek. We used lots of emojis, and it was really just trying to get our brand out there in a cute way. I sent them out on a Friday when people were a little more relaxed. And I was just trying to, have some interaction with them. On that day, I was having a bit of a difficult day, and I suddenly got this email response from someone who I haven't met before, who said to me, while you are perfectly allowed to advertise your business however you wish, what you are doing is really not the right way to advertise. You're over-promising, which means you're going to be under-delivering. And he went off on this big tangent about how me as a marketing person does not know how to market my own business. And when you're having a bad day and then something happens and you just like I felt like I'd had the wind knocked out of me. So I did what I always do when I have a bad day. I have a friend who I have to mention, she's phenomenal, she's a life coach. So I sent her a long, tearful voice note moaning about how unfair life is. And she got back to me and she said such pertinent words, it really made me rethink about branding. She said to me, this is the most positive thing that could happen. She said to me, the last thing you want people to feel about your brand is indifference. Because if they're indifferent, they don't care. It means your brand stands for nothing. It means that you're unstructured. It means that there's no personality in it. And she said to me, if someone hates your brand and feels strongly about it, it means that your brand is standing for something. And that means that there are other people who will equally love your brand. And she started chatting to me about finding your tribe. So in line with this, I decided to chat today about fearlessly embodying the essence of that brand identity. So I've got 3 steps in order that you can all implement and walk away to fearlessly identify the essence of your brand without spending any money. The first thing is defining your brand's personality. A lot of us define many different things when it comes to our business. We define our target market, we define our budgets, we define our goals and a whole lot of other things, but not everyone has actually looked at who is my brand. If my brand was a person, what music would it listen to? How old would my brand be? How would my brand dress? How would my brand talk? How would my brand behave? What would my brand be interested in? And this is incredibly important because your brand needs to have a personality. That's not to say it has to be one-dimensional. Obviously, as with every personality, the way I speak to my parents is different to the way I speak to my employees, which is different to the way I speak to my boyfriend or my friends. So obviously you still have different tones that you take on for each person, but there needs to be an underlying personality, and that is what you will be recognized for. More than your name or anything else, if there is something that is consistently pushing through on everything that you do that has a personality, you will find people who are the right people for you to work with because you will be carrying the essence of your brand. So with every piece of communication, I would suggest you write down what your brand's personality is, and before you publish anything, be it an emailer, be it social media, whatever it is, you go through and you say, is this in line with who my brand is? And if it's not, edit it until it is, so that you make sure you're consistent on that. The second step that I want to talk about is that you are your brand's greatest asset, your brand's greatest marketing ambassador. And I think often we forget this. And when you have your own business, it is vital that you be your brand and that you be your brand ambassador. And I know a lot of people tend to shy away from that because they don't necessarily want to propel themselves to the front. They would far rather, have the brand there and sort of hide behind it and stand beneath its shadow. But it's really essential that you encompass your brand and that you really be the number one brand ambassador. And I know people often say things like, yes, but I'm an introvert, and I'm actually also an introvert. So that doesn't matter. That's an excuse. I'm standing here, so you can't use that excuse. Like, being an introvert does not mean that you cannot talk in front of people. It does not mean that you can't fearlessly go ahead and chat to other people about your brand. It just means that you need to spend time alone afterwards so that you can regenerate. That's all it means. Stop using introvert as an excuse. The second thing that Andy was actually laughing at me about, he said to me, let's film your speech tomorrow. And I said, no, I'm too fat. I don't want to have a speech of me looking fat. And he was like, just suck it up. And it's true, we always have excuses, or we're all very good at pointing out, I will win. When this happens, I'll do this. When I look better, when I have more employees underneath me, when I am a more successful person, I'll feel more comfortable to talk out. When I have another branch of my stores, I'll be more comfortable to tell about the branches. Like, stop with the excuses. Be your brand's biggest ambassador, because I'm telling you right now, people will remember your face and what you have said to them far more quickly than they'll remember your logo. You can have a cruddy logo with no money that you made yourself on Word. That's fine. Just make sure that your face is the thing that people will remember, and it costs you nothing other than maybe, getting some balls. Step 3 is that secondary to you being your greatest ambassador, your staff are your next greatest ambassadors. And I think often when we interview people or when we're looking at the right candidate for a position, we have a checklist of things that we're looking for. And for each business that will be slightly different. We want someone who, has the right experience, who is timeous, who's well presented, whatever it is that you go through on your checklist. It is essential that you make sure this person is congruent with your brand. Because one of the strongest messages that gets sent out, apart from you, is what your staff is doing. How they're talking to customers, how they're interacting over email, how they answer the phone, how their general personality. And yes, you can teach things, but we all know there's a difference between when you meet someone who's genuine and when you meet someone who's doing something because they've been told to do it like that. So it is so essential that when you're interviewing people, you actually have that list of your brand's personality next to you, and you go, but are they congruent? It doesn't matter if they tick every other box. If they are not congruent with what it is that you're trying to do, you're going to be taking 2 steps forwards, 1 step back, 2 steps forwards, 1 step back, and it's going to be a very irritating process. So make sure that your staff are representing you and your business in the best way possible. I wanted to talk about these things today purely because it's stuff that we can all implement straight away. It's not going to cost you any money. And that is very important, because I think often, I read a statistic a while ago that said that businesses with funding that start up are more likely to fail than businesses that start up without funding. And part of that reason is because you have to be more innovative when you don't have funding. And it's very easy to have budget and throw it at stuff. But that doesn't mean that that budget has been correctly used. That doesn't mean that it's going to stick. And often, when you have money to spend on things, you overlook the things that you can do with nothing. So this is exactly what I'm saying about making sure that you have your brand tied up for free before you start looking at spending money, because spending money when things are in disarray is not going to help. It's just going to confuse your audience even more. So the last thing I want to say, if you have questions about anything else that's related to advertising, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them, because chances are if you have that question, there's someone else who has that question too. Fabulous. Thank you so much, ladies.